wish I did it with my first car, because that car sounded terrible. It was falling apart, and it had the whole dashboard like rattled and sounded like it was gonna fall off. It's just a really fascinating thing to record everyday life in stereo, like in first person, because when you listen back to it, you notice a lot of things that you would never notice if you were actually living it. I mean, it's one of the most fascinating things to me, I think, to be listening to a situation rather than experiencing it with your other senses. Because your ears are easily overwhelmed by, especially your eyes. Your eyes are just, they're your dominant sense, and they just overpower all your other senses, and I think it's unfair, because your ears are a whole lot more sensitive to small nuances, and they pick up on a lot of what's going on around you without you even knowing. If you, instead of keeping your eyes open and experiencing life through your eyes mostly, if you were to just close your eyes instead and experience things that way, you end up noticing a lot more of what's going on. You end up catching a lot more of other people's conversations. I mean, a lot more, and you end up hearing like incidental sounds and little things that happen around you that you would never ever hear it unless if your eyes are open. And with your eyes open, you only see a very small amount of stuff, because your brain filters out a lot of what your eyes see, to where you basically walk around all day with tunnel vision, and you see just what's in the center of your vision, and filter out most of what's in your peripheral vision. And it's even true if you were if somebody asked you to recall visual information of an event that happened, and you thought back about it, and even if you didn't see something specifically happen, your brain will fill in the gaps with what it thinks is the most plausible, and it won't tell you that it's filling in the gaps. It will make you think that you saw something that you really didn't. And this is a recorded phenomena. It has a name, but it's usually referenced in relation to the testimony of witnesses to a car accident or something similar. A lot of times, a lot of different people will have witnessed the same thing, but they all claim to have seen something different, or they all agree on the bigger picture, but the details, although each of the witnesses are certain about the details, each one has a differing story with regard to the details, because the visual information that they received was insufficient for their brain to really reconcile. So the brain fills in the gaps with basically with stuff that it makes up. For instance, if you were to see a bug fly past your face very quickly, and it happened so fast. And somebody asked you, what was that? Was that a bug? What did it look like? If you thought about it, you might be able to come up with a picture of what it looked like, even though you might say, I think it was a black bug, and I think it might have had wings and really long legs. And you may not have seen that at all. You may have seen nothing but a blur in reality. But since your brain knows what a bug looks like, it will willingly and readily fill in details with the most plausible information, even if it's completely false. So if you record the sound of some random activity that you normally, have your eyes open for, like driving, I would hope that you'd have your eyes open while you're driving. And then you listen back later, and close your eyes and only listen to the sound of it. You end up hearing a lot of stuff that you normally would never hear, because your eyes would just dominate. And I suppose I never really finished my point before about even your eyes are really sort of a myopic. That's an interesting term here, but kind of a myopic sense, because they really only see what's directly in front of them, and then they also overshadow what you're hearing, so they really just confine the rest of your senses too. But your ears are not like that. Your ears do not focus like that. Your ears tend to hear what's all around you, and unbiased. They just listen. So if you were to listen back to, say, driving around, you would end up hearing a lot of noises in your car, and the sound of cars passing you that you never would even consider. Because for example, if a car passes you in a car, if you're driving along on the highway and a car passes you, you see the car passing you as it goes by, and although you hear the sound of the engine of that car passing you, you don't notice it because it's all part and parcel with the sight of the car passing. So you never even notice the sound of it because it's all wrapped up in the visuals. So I find it very fascinating to record just even walking through the house, because there are a lot of noises around the house, even the sound of your feet on the carpet, or the sound of the light switch flicking off, or the sound of the refrigerator turning on, or the sound of a mouse in the walls scurrying around, or the sound of the chair as it creaks when you sit down, or the sound of the clock on the wall ticking away, or the sound that your cat makes as you pass by him and he notices you, or the sound of a car passing outside, or the sound there's just so many sounds that are just all around you that you do not notice unless you record it and listen back. And it's almost like not as much reliving a situation as living it again, but for the first time, because it's none of it, and I promise you, if you do this, you'll be amazed. But there, especially a lot of you out there I know are, if you're into whispering, I would presume that you're into sound in general. So, if you're anything like me, you would be really interested in experiencing life in this way. In fact, I think I might even try a video where I post the sound of the back seat of a car while you're driving on the highway, because I know that when I was a little kid, at night when our family would take a road trip, if I was sitting in the back seat and we were on the highway at night, I would be asleep within seconds. It was the most soothing place that I can think of. Even today, I can't think of a more pleasant, soothing place to be than in the back seat of a car with your mother and your father in the front seat, and you curled up safe in the back, laying on the back seat with your ear against the seat, listening to the sound of the road and the sound of the engine and the sound of the late night radio quietly. I'm sure you can all relate, so I might make a video of that depending on how good it sounds. But I suppose I'll end this and say goodnight to you all, unless it's morning or afternoon, in which case I will say